2 years ago, we showed you all that was possible with the S Pen stylus on the Galaxy Note 2. Well, a few things have changed since then, so it's time we did a little S Pen update. I'm Michael Fisher with Pocket Now, and this is your S Pen lesson for the Galaxy Note 4. First of all, what is the S Pen? You could be forgiven for thinking it's just a fancy version of the old Palm and Windows styluses, but Samsung's version goes much further. Rather than just being a plastic stick, it's actually powered by induction, working with the field put out by the phone's display. And this power allows it to support features like the button and the movable tip that would otherwise only be possible with a heavy and thick built-in battery. The S Pen lives in a protective silo on the Note 4's lower right edge where it locks securely into place. Via the settings menu on the Note 4, you can control what sounds, if any, the S Pen makes when it's docked or undocked, which apps launch automatically once it's pulled out, again, if any, and whether the Note alerts you when you leave your S Pen behind, a handy feature that works quite well. You can also find a toggle for S Pen haptics, which lightly buzzes the phone when you're hovering over links or buttons with the pen and adds to the texture of the whole experience. Fun fact, the Note 3 S Pen will work with the Note 4, but it's such a tight fit in the silo that it won't activate the docking and undocking functions, and it's not very comfortable. If you've seen Pocket Now's Note 4 review, linked in the description below, you know that I think of the Note 4 as a kind of pocket computer, more so than other smartphones. Extending that analogy, the new S Pen is kind of like that computer's mouse. It offers a more precise way of clicking around, and it also brings that hover functionality I just talked about. The gallery is a good showcase for this. Hold the S Pen just over a photo and you're given the option to share, edit, sketch on it, or trash it right from there. Or select multiple photos by holding the button and drawing a box. In Samsung's messaging app, you can hold the tip over a message to preview its contents. In the internet browser, hold the tip near the top or bottom of the page to scroll, or hold the pen's button to highlight text. You're then given the option to copy that text, share it, find it elsewhere on the page, do a web search for it, or look it up in the onboard dictionary. You can also use the pen as an analog for your finger for any conventional tap and scroll navigation, which especially comes in handy on a tabletop. Swiping your text messages on Samsung's keyboard with the S Pen is much easier than two-finger pecking once you get used to it. And speaking of text, anytime there's text in a field anywhere in the system, you can hover the pen over it and tap the button that appears. The text will be pasted into a pop-up memo, which you can then save separately. Notice that I'm specifically calling out Samsung apps for most of these functions. Some apps, like Hangouts, support features like S Pen scrolling. Many others, like Chrome and Gmail, don't. So be ready for a sort of inconsistent experience, unless you're only using Samsung apps. The Note 4 offers shortcuts to many S Pen functions via a pop-up menu called Air Command. Holding the pen over the screen and clicking the button once deploys it, giving you access to Action Memo, Smart Select, Image Clip, and Screen Write. Action Memo is handy for those times you really just want to jot something down quickly, which you can do in a pop-up box. Those memos are then stored with the S Note application in a special folder. Now, Action Memo can do a lot more than this. Write down a phone number to call it or save it, write down a website name to browse to it, write down an address to navigate to it. How useful that is to you will depend on how much patience you have and how good your penmanship is. For my money, Action Memo is far more handy just to jot items down and then pin the note right to the home screen. The memos stay legible due to the high-resolution display, or you can just sync them right to Evernote, another handy feature. Other Air Command capabilities are less nuanced, but some are just as useful. Smart Select lets you clip out a portion of the screen to save in a scrapbook. Image Clip lets you draw a more defined border to do the same thing, which you can then clean up before also saving to the scrapbook. More useful than both of these, to me, is Screen Write, because it saves a step. It screenshots the whole display and immediately drops you into editing so you can start annotating or doodling right away. And then you can crop it or share it with no scrapbook middleman to get in the way. Finally, when it comes to the drawing itself, there's no shortage of options here. Samsung maintains a list of S Pen compatible apps on its Tech Life blog, but the S Note suite pre-installed on the Note 4 is plenty powerful, if a little cumbersome to navigate. You can drop one of two styles of S Note widget on the home screen for fast access to the app itself. with shortcuts to instantly create a written, typed, or audio note, and there's even a button to jump right into the camera to capture and scan a document, and this feature in particular works quite well. Once you're inside S-Note itself, you get a choice of backgrounds, layouts, and colors for your virtual paper, and the 2,000 levels of pressure sensitivity on the new Note's display give everything from the pencil to the calligraphy pen a fair amount of range, which is fun to play with. Easy to ignore but really convenient are the pen presets, which lets you save specific pens that you use more often. My favorite feature, because I screw up all the time, is the undo command, which erases your last stroke so you don't have to fiddle with the eraser. And if you want, you can record your sketch, just in case you want to show someone the artiste at work. Physically, it still feels like writing with a rubber tip on glass. It's not as good as paper, and you shouldn't believe that it is. But you can replace the tip of the pen with included spares in the box if you wear it down. And if you're patient enough, you or your friends, or your kid, can end up with some respectable doodles. Samsung's even built an Instagram-like social network for sharing them called PenUp, so you don't need to keep your creations to yourself. Of course, you can share them on more traditional social networks as well. Many Note owners have told me that the S Pen is one of those accessories that gets used a lot in the first week, and then seldom ever again. I was in that boat with previous Note generations, and I'd still like to see more streamlining, simplicity, and compatibility with the Note 4's S Pen. But use it often enough in that first week, learn how versatile and handy it can be, and you might find yourself more attached to Samsung's special stylus than you expect. After all, it's part of the package you're paying for when you pick up the pricey Note 4, and no other smartphone has it. You might as well try to make the most of it. Again, check out our full Galaxy Note 4 review at Pocket Now and here on YouTube, along with a bunch of comparisons. Leave your own tips and tricks in the comments to help other Note toters out, and be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Till next time, this has been Michael Fisher with Pocket Now, Captain Two Phones on Twitter, warning you that wrist cramps are no more fun with S Pens than with ballpoint ones. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you next time.